Assalamualaikum and hello you guys. Sebelum ni aku dah pernah jawab kuis The Big Bang Theory. Tapi ni aku ada jumpa satu lagi kuis yang kononnya paling susah yang akan kita jumpa berkenaan dengan The Big Bang Theory. So memandangkan aku ni peminat The Big Bang Theory, berapa kali nak ulang The Big Bang Theory aku pun tak tahulah. Jadi aku nak cubalah jawab kuis kali ni. Berjaya ke tak? I don't know. Aku tak tahu. Jom kita cuba jawab. Jom.
Do you, just like Sheldon Cooper, think that you know it all?
No.
60 IQ points to be classified as smart.
Dia ni belagak.
Awesome quiz about the Big Bang Theory cast for you to check if you're right. Let's start with an easy one.
Okay.
You know that Mayim Bialik is a scientist in real life.
Betul.
But what kind of science does she have a PhD in? A. Neuroscience. B. Microbiology. C. Immunology.
A. Neuroscience.
The right answer is neuroscience.
Mm-hmm.
Before Mayim was cast, the writers didn't know what Amy should specialize in.
He said they figured why not make her what I am so that I can, fix small things if they're wrong.
So the actress also became one of their consultants on the set. That was actually a good idea to use her knowledge, right? But there was a cast member whose scientific knowledge they definitely couldn't use. Let's see. Who dropped out of school?
Uh-huh.
A. Simon Helberg. B. Melissa Rauch. C. Johnny Galecki.
Johnny Galecki.
And the answer is Johnny Galecki.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. While Leonard had a PhD in experimental physics, Johnny only made it to 8th grade at school.
What are you really bad at? Math.
But his character wouldn't be too proud of him.
Uh-huh.
We can see now that quitting high school didn't stop Galecki from being successful. Who knows if he'd even have landed the role of Leonard if he'd stayed at school instead of acting for most of his life. Now let's talk about his on-screen wife. Which injury did Kaylee Cuoco get in between filming? A. Pulled her hamstring. B. Broke her leg. C. Dislocated her shoulder.
B.
She broke her leg.
Ew.
It happened when the 4th season was being filmed. Kaylee, an avid rider, was having one of her usual horseback sessions, and suddenly her horse got spooked and stomped on her leg.
Ew.
Facing me. And I was like, that's not normal.
It was pretty bad. While she was recovering, Kaylee missed the filming of 2 episodes. After a lot of thinking, the Big Bang Theory writers decided not to include her injury in the script. To hide her cast, they made sure that Kaylee was always wearing something that covered it, and they mostly filmed her from the waist up. For the same reason, Penny suddenly became a bartender instead of a waitress. Luckily, the injury healed pretty quickly. Now let's get back to Penny's bestie, Amy. What is Mayim Bialik's favorite episode of The Big Bang Theory? A. The one where Amy and Sheldon lose their virginity. B. When they get a Nobel Prize. C. Amy and Sheldon's wedding.
A. Tapi aku paling tak suka episod tu.
And the right answer is the virginity one.
Just say, let's get me waxed!
Here's how the actress commented on it. We took something so monumental for Sheldon and this relationship and did not have it be a vulgar episode or really even a highly comedic episode. It's awesome that they made it so touching and beautiful. And now you're probably wondering if this was the Sheldon actor's favorite episode too. In fact, it wasn't. This leads us to the next question. Which episode was Jim Parsons' favorite?
Alamak, yang ni aku tak tahulah.
Flew into his apartment.
Oh, aku suka episod tu.
Bought a bunch of cats. C. When Leonard's mom kissed him.
Ew. Aku suka A, so aku hentam A lah. Aku tak tahulah yang ini.
Was the Blue Jay one.
Ah, sama.
To the literal, you just my little lovey.
Lovey-dovey, aren't you?
Simply loved it so much because it was both silly and implausible, and he's really fond of finding himself in that kind of unusual situation. Plus, it was interesting for the actor to film the scenes in segments. After all, no way could the bird follow the script exactly, especially on the first try, and it was certainly a lot of fun to watch his little feathered friend. Now let's proceed to his co-star. Who was Melissa Rauch's favorite guest character? A.
Alah,
Howard's
yang ni pun
mom.
aku tak tahu
B.
juga.
Professor Proton. C. Stephen Hawking.
Aku nak hentam yang mana. Okay, B lah. B.
It was Professor Proton,
Ah.
aka Arthur Jeffries.
Hentaman mengena, eh?
Played by Bob Newhart. Known for being a stand-up comedian. Roush has always been a die-hard fan of his. I had a Bob Newhart record album as a kid that was my father's, and I did stand-up before, the actress once shared. It was an honor for Melissa to meet him on the set and talk to him about stand-up and live audience performances. She'll certainly cherish that conversation for the rest of her life. Jim Parsons, on the other hand, had completely different idols while growing up. Let's find out if you can guess. Which of these is Jim Parsons' favorite show? A.
Alamak, ini pun aku tak
C.
tahu.
Grey's Anatomy.
Aku hentam je lah C.
He loved watching Grey's Anatomy. And he also liked
Yes.
and Friday Night Lights.
Oh.
Like his character, Jim never liked Star Trek. He hasn't even seen a single episode.
Tadi aku hentam A betul, B betul, C betul. Okay.
About Star Trek, he even gets embarrassed when fans try to discuss the series with him. Jim actually isn't interested in science fiction at all. So it looks like he's a terrific actor because his Sheldon was so believable.
Betul.
Since we're talking about the past, let's see. Who used to work in a comic book store? A. John Ross
Okay.
Bowie, aka Kripke. B. Kevin Sussman,
Stewart.
aka Stewart.
Uh-huh.
C. Brian Posehn, aka Bert.
Aku rasa B. Sebab dalam cerita ni pun dia ada kedai buku
The
komik.
answer is obvious. It was Kevin Sussman.
Yeah,
The actor
B.
shared that he worked in a comic book store for 4 years. That's the reason why he managed to play Stewart so well. He knew exactly what it took to work.
Okay,
in a
so
store
far so
for
good, so
years.
far so
And
good.
Of course, he's a little bit of a geek himself because he knows so much about comic books. And while we're talking about the supporting cast, he
Okay.
became involved in the show thanks to Twitter. A.
Okay.
Bill Wheaton, B. Bob Newhart, aka Arthur Jeffries. C. Sarah Gilbert, aka Leslie Wing.
Jawapannya A.
It was Will Wheaton. The
Yeah.
actor who played a delightfully evil version of himself in the show told the story to Larry King. He once shared on Twitter how much he loved the show, and shortly afterward, he received a very interesting email.
An email from someone said, I'm Bill Prady's assistant. Bill Prady's the co-creator and was the showrunner at the time. Bill would love to talk to you about being on the show. Well, I just thought that the email was a joke from one of my friends, so I just ignored it.
After some time, did Will realize that the offer was legit and called them back. That's how he got onto the show. Moving on to the next question.
Okay.
And it's a tricky one. Whose clothes took up the most space in the show's wardrobe? A. Bernadette's cardigans. B. Raj's sweater vests. C. Howard's tight pants and turtlenecks.
C?
The answer is unexpected. It's C. Simon and Kunal revealed this funny detail in an awesome tour around the show set.
Where all the magic of this and this happens.
Yeah.
This is our wardrobe.
They said that Howard's bright-colored attire took up a whole lot of room, and even his belt buckles had their own storage space.
His entire room.
Can you believe he had that many outfits? Here's another question about Simon. Which talent does he share with Wolowitz? A. Magic tricks. B. Impressions. C. Hookup lines.
B.
A die-hard fan might know that the right answer is impressions. Howard impersonated many different celebrities in The Big Bang Theory more than once.
These words are ham to the bones.
And Simon likes to show off his talent for doing voices in real life too. So whenever he can, he'll just do it.
You have to put it in the right file, you know.
Share in the comments below if you have your favorite Simon or Howard impersonation.
Oh, aku
And
paling
now
suka
we're
bila
moving
dia
on to who's
tiru
on-screen
style
Simon.
Sheldon.
He's also good at doing voices.
Okay.
Who Melissa based Bernadette's voice on? A. Her mom. B. Her
A.
dad. C. Her sister.
Jawapannya A.
The right answer is A. We're talking about Bernadette's standard voice, of course, because when she was talking to Howard's mom, she used her dad as inspiration. Interestingly, Melissa came up with this squeaky voice at her audition, and the writers loved it. She's now so associated with this voice that it's really confusing when Ralph speaks with her real one. But we better get used to it because she won't use the same voice in her future roles, most probably. And now let's see who else might cause confusion in his new projects. Because one of the show's stars decided to make a drastic change, who went on to play a serial killer after the show? Jim, Simon, or Kunal?
Kunal. Aku baru je tengok video pasal ni beberapa bulan lepas.
Kunal.
Kunal.
Our sweet beloved Raj as a cold and calculating serial killer? Neither can we. But Kunal thought that choosing that kind of role was actually a good idea. I wanted to make sure that whatever I did next was like, wait, who is this? Oh my god, is that the guy from The Big Bang? As opposed to, oh, there's Raj, playing a killer, the actor said. Well, that sounds about right. If you want to see Kunal in this unlikely role, watch watched the British police anthology series, Criminal. And now let's get back to the Big Bang Theory set and see who ate all the food on the set. Kunal, Kaylee, or Johnny?
Kelly. Sebab aku pernah tengok bloopers dia macam teruja bila makan.
Here's what she said about it. I must be the only one who really eats the food. I save my appetite until we do those scenes. I want to look real, man. You want to know why Kaylee was so eager to eat all this food? It's because it was so delicious. Everything from the pasta to the Chinese takeout was cooked by the show's master, Scott London, who wanted to be a chef before getting into showbiz. So both during and after filming, Kaylee was always the first to start eating. Well, she certainly has a good appetite, but all good things must come to an end. So tell me, who cried the most while filming the finale? Kaylee, Johnny, or Kunal?
Johnny.
You might expect it to be Kaylee, but in fact it was Johnny. While Galecki was doing one of his last scenes, he had to stop at some point because he was getting so emotional. He couldn't even say a word without sobbing. Then he shared long hugs with each one of his co-stars when they came out to the audience one last time. And did you cry while watching the final episode?
Was in a hot, dense sleep for nearly 14
Actually aku tak ingat aku nangis ke tak, tapi memang aku kecewa lah bila dia tamat.
About the Big Bang
Semua salah Jim Parsons.
videos we made about the show. And don't forget to stay awesome.
Kalau tak silap aku, kuis sebelum ni, aku tak dapat jawab satu soalan kan? Yang pasal nama kedai Stuart. Betul tak? Tapi kali ni, kuis yang kononnya lah kan. Susah. Aku dapat jawab semua lah. Tapi tak kira lah aku entam tak entam tapi betul kan? Hebat juga aku ni. Belakang. Belakangnya Mina ni. Korang minat tak The Big Bang Theory? Kalau minat, episod mana yang paling korang suka? Bagi tahu aku dekat ruangan komen. Jangan lupa untuk subscribe YouTube channel Talking Hunny, like dan share video ni, okay? Okay, bye.